I would be probably exaggerating if I said that with the mental model we discussed today, you will be able to get your nutrition at least 80% right. But that exaggeration would be quite minimal. I'm Dmitry Sokolov, International Board Certified Lifestyle Medicine Physician, and today I shall tell you a tale of two pots. Each of us has to achieve their unique calorie balance, which would allow, depending on our goal, to lose, increase or maintain healthy weight and body composition. At the same time, we have to provide specific amount of macro and micronutrients for our body to function in the optimal way. Both these concepts we can put in a simple mental model that will make the right food choices obvious to us by just imagining two pots, calorie pot and nutrient pot. The calorie pot is governed by the principle of energy density, that is, the number of calories contained in a specific weight or volume of food. Foods with high energy density are the ones that pack a large number of calories in a small portion, and they would be quickly filling the calorie pot. Most often that is due to them being rich in fat, which is the most calorie-dense macronutrient. Conversely, foods with low energy density have fewer calories for the same weight, which allows for larger and more filling portions. And this is usually because most of their mass is formed by water and fiber that provides 0 to very few calories. The second pot, the nutrient pot, relates to the nutrient density, and that in simple terms means the amount of beneficial nutrients the food contains in a specific weight or volume. And the key substances that form this nutrient pot are protein, dietary fiber, complex carbs, healthy fats, and a wide spectrum of vitamins, minerals, and healthy phytochemicals. Nutrient-dense foods deliver a wealth of such nutrients for their caloric cost. And in contrast, nutrient-poor foods deliver very few nutrients for their caloric cost. So if we plot calorie density and nutrient density on two axes, we end up with a 2x2 matrix with 4 distinct quadrants. Calorie-dense, nutrient-poor, calorie-dense, nutrient-dense, calorie-light, nutrient-dense, and calorie-light, nutrient-poor. Let's review this matrix to see which foods belong to which quadrant and what practical implications stem from this categorization. Quadrant 1 represents calorie-dense, nutrient-poor food. The foods that we ideally should be limiting as they rapidly fill up the calorie pot while providing little nutritional value. Quite often these are processed or highly processed foods, typically high in added sugars, solid fats, and sodium. And here belong sugar-sweetened beverages, confectionery, processed meats, fried snacks, and refined grains. The more restricted your calorie pot is, the less of such foods you can afford. So what does that mean in real life? If you're in a 700 calories per day restriction and your calorie pot is only 1500 calories, does that mean you cannot eat cakes, bacon, or crisps at all? By all means, no, you can. But you have to realize that while filling your calorie pot with them, you will be lacking the real nutrients that you also must deliver to the body because they build your body and ensures health and function. So just take that into account with quadrant 1 foods. Quadrant 2 in our matrix are calorie-dense, nutrient-dense foods, and we can also label them as foods of moderation. These are really great contributors to the nutrient pot, but at the same time they also effectively fill the calorie pot. And here belong nuts and seeds, avocado, oily fish, lean red meat, dried fruit, and dark chocolate. And looking at this list, you can see that these are the foods we quite often actually like to eat because they're very palatable. And also we have a nice excuse or rationale for eating them. We say they're healthy. While that is true, we should bear in mind that our calorie pot is not infinite, and therefore we should exercise portion awareness with these foods, particularly if we are on a caloric restriction. Next, in quadrant 3, we have calorie-light, nutrient-dense foods, and these are the ones we should emphasize in our day-to-day eating because they efficiently fill up the nutrient pot without overtaxing the calorie pot. And these are health all-stars like leafy greens, non-starchy veg, whole grains, legumes, berries and melons, and lean poultry and fish. And lastly, Quadrant 4 is for calorie-light, nutrient-poor foods, which is a small group of functional foods and fluids that have minimal impact on either pot but serve other vital roles such as hydration. And the examples here are water, tea, coffee, broths, and artificially sweetened drinks with non-nutritive sweeteners. One crucial moment we also have to consider is that specific food's place in this matrix is not fixed, and it is highly dependent on how it's prepared and processed. And if we cook the food with additional fats, sugars, it may easily shift from healthy choice to the one that should be limited. For example, we take a healthy salad which is composed entirely of quadrant 3 veggies and drench it in a creamy sugar-laden commercial dressing. That adds hundreds of calories and moves the entire meal closer to quadrant 1. Similarly, we can take a cup of black coffee, which is a 2-calorie antioxidant-rich quadrant 4 beverage, and easily turn that into a 150 plus calorie quadrant 1 drink by making a flavored latte with whole milk and sugarless syrup. So now that we know about the pots and matrix quadrants, the logical question emerges: how do we practically embed these principles in daily use? And there are two main routes for that. First is a proportion principle, which is similar to Harvard healthy eating plate, whereby we dedicate most of our plate to quadrant 3 foods, 50% for fruit and veg, 25% for lean protein like legumes, skinless poultry and lean fish, and 25% for whole grains like quinoa, buckwheat, brown rice and whole wheat. We then throw in small amounts of quadrant 2 foods like a sprinkle of seeds on the salad, a few slices of avocado on whole grain toast, or a handful of nuts. So these quadrant 2 foods we use as strategical additions to incorporate their healthy nutrients without overwhelming the calorie pot. And we consciously minimize quadrant 1 calorie-dense, nutrient-poor options either by limitation or healthy swaps. And the second route, and the best way to see how your calorie and nutrient pots are filling up, is tailored meal planning and regular food logging with a food tracker app. And that will give you the best possible options to steer and leverage your nutrition for specific desired weight and body composition outcomes.